Yo, what's up, you guys? So I'm back to documenting my process to becoming a profitable trader here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be going over my 2025 recap. In reality, it's just about 9 weeks worth of trades. It did take a minute for me to get acclimated back into the markets of, getting a broker, depositing money, and just dealing with price action and just kind of starting all over again. To be honest with you, I don't really consider myself a beginner trader since I did have about a year in to the markets previously. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't consider myself like a complete newbie where I didn't know anything about anything. So I feel like this time around I do have a better chance. At that time, I was taking quite a bit of losses, and obviously, I'm still going to be taking losses now. But back then, it was a lot harder for me emotionally to handle those losses. And then now, this time around, I feel like I can handle those losses a lot better, and definitely put things into perspective. And then not only that, since I am a lot more data driven now, hopefully it'll be easier to work around those losses. Um, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. I don't think I'm gonna be going over any too many charts. If I do, then please forgive me for lying to you guys right now. And for 2025, I was negative 26.96. I'm just gonna be going over biggest gain, biggest money loss, average gain, average money loss, percent gain, things of that sort. So I'm gonna be going over my patterns, the number of times I took them, the win versus losses, the percent of the amount of times that I trade specific patterns, the net P&L for those patterns, the total win rate, and then where I make my most money, whether it's in morning on that pattern, midday, afternoon, or after hours. And then also I'm going to be going over for all the patterns combined. It's going to be morning all, midday all, and then afternoon slash power hour all, and then after hours. And then I'm going to just kind of be breaking down a little bit of these patterns, and my thought process. And then if I do go over some charts, it'll be these, but that's probably going to be unlikely. And the reason for that is pretty much for this recap is because since I only have 9 weeks worth of data, when I was trading with Fidelity, but then I switched my broker over to TradeStation so I could trade on TradingView. I like TradingView because I could see my entries and exits on the charts. So then that's something that I could study on. Am I doing good or am I doing bad on these entries and exits? So that's part of the reason why. But once I start doing my monthly recaps here on YouTube, then I'll definitely be going over my biggest win for the month, my biggest loss for the month, or my worst execution for the month, my best execution for the month. Um, but for this one specifically, it'll just be data. Okay, so with that being said, my biggest money gain was $24.50. My biggest money loss was $14.94. So a little bit more than half for that biggest money loss. Average gain is $7. Average money loss is just under $4. So that's not good. I definitely want to adjust that. Biggest percent gain was 26%. My biggest percent loss was negative 31%. That's not good as well. Average money gain is 11%, and then average money loss is just under 8%. So that's okay with me. However, instead of really focusing on the percentage, yes, that's good. I mostly want to focus on the average money gain and the average money loss, and keep the average money gain up and the average money loss down, right? So my win rate for this year was 32%, and then total gain, total loss was negative 26.96. Total wins versus losses was 31 wins and 65 losses, and in the total, I took 96 trades. Now, the patterns that I was trading are breakouts, dip buys, morning spikes, morning panics, overnight gap ups, and then I do have FOMO in here. Since I was just barely new into the markets, all the emotions come back, and it's just kind of a little bit difficult to control those emotions. But I feel like now that I've done my stats, I have a better control over these emotions because I realize that a big bulk of my losses come from FOMO trades, taking trades that I shouldn't have traded, obviously. and then going back into a trade after I've already won. And then when I go back in that second time, it just erases all of my gains. So I believe if I could get a handle on those two things, I think I'll be okay. For these breakouts, I traded it 42 times, 16 wins, 28 losses. It's 45% of the total of the trades that I take, and I'm positive $20, 36% win rate. And then for the morning, I'm 6 out of 11, plus $22 in the morning, 35% win rate. For the midday, actually, this was a lot worse, but I did this whole recap the second week of December, so my stats did get a little bit better. So 6 out of 11 for the midday, plus $4, 35% win rate. And then afternoon, it's 2 out of 4, plus just under $15, 66% win rate, and then nothing for the after hours. So now let's get into dip buys. For dip buys, I do believe that this is going to be where I'm going to be making the bulk of my money here in 2026, because breakouts, not that I don't necessarily like playing them, but the strategy is just a little bit different, and dip buys are going to be much better for me. For me right now, it's a little bit harder to articulate on why that is, but just give me some time in these markets, and then hopefully, maybe in the January, February, March recaps, I could articulate with the dip buys better. But in regards for that, 31 times I traded dip buys, 10 out of 23 losses, so 34% is the total of the times that I've traded dip buys. I'm negative 389, 30% win rate. 6 out of 11 right now. Positive 496 in the morning, positive 473 midday, and then positive 324 in the afternoon. So 6 out of 11 in the morning, 3 out of 9 midday, and then 1-1-1 afternoon power hour, 1 win, 1 break even, and then 1 loss. And then 35% win rate, 35% win rate in the morning, 25% win rate midday, and then 33% win rate in the after hours. Now, everything that I did to gather these stats, I did use AI. I did use Grok. So kind of take this with a grain of salt. At least that's what I'm doing. So, but I feel like it does give me a good idea of, where I'm slacking, where I'm doing good, where I can improve, etc., etc. Morning spikes, I actually just added this. Number of trades, I took 4. This should be 4 wins. This should be 4 wins. I just started this, so 3% out of the total number of patterns that I trade. Net P&Ls 1280, 100% win rate, and then 3 out of 3. Should be 3 out of 0. 4 out of 0. $12.80, and then 100% win rate. However, these are a little bit more difficult to gauge. Reason being is because since I'm trading with such a small account, it's a lot harder to size in and out of trades. And I like to size in and out of trades, but since I have the small account, it's difficult. And with the morning spikes, if they just spike up and I just get like a nice 10-15% gain, I may end up missing, the come down consolidation, and then it ends up, breaking out again. So what I need to do is really just add money to my trading account, so then I can play once it breaks out of the consolidation, which is this kind of dip buy pattern that I'm going to be executing more on here in 2026. The next thing is going to be morning panics. I really don't like trading these because it's hard to really gauge the bottom. Okay, so with this, only 3 trades, 1 out of 2. I've won. This is only 3.13% of my trades, negative 205, 33% win rate. And then obviously it's only in the morning, 1 out of 3, negative 240, negative $2.45, and 33% win rate trading morning panics in the morning. Overnight gap ups, probably not going to be doing a lot of these, only because I value my sleep too much. Okay, but the one thing that I did is, 2 trades, 1 win, 1 loss, 1%. Net P&L is 44 cents, so I'm 50% win rate, plus 44% plus 44 uh plus 44 cents net, right? And then I put this in the morning because when I end up exiting this position, it is in the morning. FOMO trades. 13 trades were FOMO, fear of missing out. Only one of them actually worked, so my win rate's 90%. 10% of the amount of trades that I take are FOMO. Negative 2112 for these FOMOs overall. 0 out of 4 in the morning, negative 307, 20% win rate. 0 out of 5 midday, and then 0 out of 2. And then I know it does say 1 out of 12. I believe that's for the after hours one. So morning, I'm plus $28.79. 14 wins, 30 losses, 31% win rate. For trading midday, this is where I lose the bulk of my money. So I need to stop trading midday. And usually, when I trade the midday, it's breakouts. I do the midday fake out breakout. So that's something that I totally need to cut. Okay, unless it meets a specific criteria. And even then, it's difficult. But this is just something that I need to do more stats on because, sometimes with the market, it doesn't wait till power hour or the last hour and a half for something to break out. Sometimes it does happen midday. So there's that. So 12 wins, 25 losses, negative $33. And then I have a 32% win rate here. The next one, afternoon power hour, 3 out of 6, plus 191. 66% win rate. And then for the after hours, 2 out of 3, negative $1.10, and that's a 40% win rate. Okay, so pretty much what I'm going to be going over here is already what I went over. I'll just go over it again really quick. For the breakouts, I'm going to stick to the first 10 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour, at least in the morning, if I trade in the morning for a breakout play. And then once I trade breakouts in the afternoon, I have to make sure it has had consolidation with good news in a good sector, which is essentially when I get in when it breaks consolidation. So it could be like a breakout dip buy kind of thing. I still need to do more stats and kind of really iron out this with breakouts and dip buys and what works for me and what I'm comfortable with, etc. So that goes on to the next one for dip buys. I'm still getting a feel for that. Like I said before, it is hard to express when a good dip buy is. But I do believe that this will end up being my biggest win rate percentage if I can get it right, and I do believe I can. Such as selling into high of day or VWAP. So when it comes to size and when it comes to percent gain and profit targets and stuff and sizing out, selling to high of day or VWAP. So this I just need to get more data on and just more backtracking. Morning spikes, I'm probably not going to be trading a lot of these. Like I said, because they're good but tricky. They could either come, spike and then come right back down. They could either spike, come down and consolidate and then go higher. With big spikes, I don't like being in the chop, but I also don't like missing moves. So I'm going to have to bite the dust on either one of those, either missing the morning spike or missing the move in the after hour in the intraday in the afternoon. So I think I'm gonna be okay with missing the moves in the morning. I say that now. I think that's gonna bite me in the ass, but we'll see. Morning panic dip buy. It's tricky to time the bottom, like I said. Probably not gonna be trading these. Overnight gap up. I value my sleep too much, you guys, because when I have a trade overnight, I can't sleep at night. Gotta wake up at 4 a.m. for pre-market, and it's just not a good time. So if I do have an overnight gap up, it has to be an A+ setup for me, and then also in a good market. So this percentage of my trades is probably going to be still low. A good percentage of my trades are going to be dip buys and breakouts. So we'll see how that goes. FOMO trades, I just want to completely eliminate. Like I said, I've realized I lose most in the midday with fake out breakouts. And then after I win in a trade, I end up going in again because I'm human, I'm greedy, and I just want to take it all and I want to have the best entry and exit. But usually when that happens, I end up losing all my profits from before. So if I could just get a handle on not going in after I make a solid gain and just keep those gains, I'll be okay. I could be profitable. Okay. So overall, if I could get a handle on not giving back gains after winning in a stock and then trading midday breakouts, I'll be profitable. I need to remember to stick to my risk and profit target. Something I always remind myself is that I can't control the markets, but I can control my trading plan. I realize I'm not a fan of grind ups and then constant pullbacks in a stock that hasn't proven itself yet. So usually that's in the mornings. I like a stock that has proven itself in the morning, holds some key levels, and then ends up showing signs of strength into the afternoon, and then pretty much taken off from there. So I think those are the kinds of stocks that I'm going to be trading, um, that I size into, and like I said, most of that are just going to be dip buys, consolidation breakouts type of deal. So um, like I said, usually this stems from being early, but the downside of this is that it can fall hard too, and it cannot work. So um, that's why, like I said, I need to remember to stick to my risk and my profit target. There has been a couple of trades where I haven't stuck to my risk, and and it ends up not even touching my risk, and it ends up working out. And then there's been times where I move my profit target, and it reaches my original profit target, and it still would have been a solid game, but I get greedy and I want more, um, and I end up moving it, but it never moves to that second profit target that I take. So, um, some of these problems stem from trading with a small account. Okay, so like I said, part of me fixing these problems is adding money to this account, which I am going to be here in 2026. But with that being said, you guys, this is my recap for pretty much the last 9 weeks of my trading, after coming back into the markets after 2.5 years. I'm excited. I still believe that I can do this. I believe that I'm uh, more emotionally mature to handle losses. Um, so, yeah, let's see how 2026 goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great year. And stay tuned for my monthly recaps as well. Follow me on Instagram, on X. Follow my TikTok. I just started TikTok. Everything is going to be at Invoxo Trades, the same exact thing that you see from my YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you guys for following along, of me documenting my process to becoming a profitable trader. Hope you guys have a great day.